Right, this is another instructional video. This time, a bit different. Forgive me if I'm out of breath, but I've just spent just a little while struggling to get this seat out of the car. But this is an instructional video. Actually, it's not really an instructional video because I have no idea what I'm doing. But this is the steps that I take to retrofit heated seats into my Toyota IQ. It's an IQ2, might recognise the seat. It's I've just got it out of the car. I'm not going to show you how to do that, that's pretty easy. One thing I will say is, because these seats have airbags built in, is before you go ahead and disconnect the seat connectors just there, the service manual says to disconnect the battery and wait at least 90 seconds before going ahead and removing those connectors, because you don't want any possibility of triggering the airbag detonators. So yeah, so I'm gonna see about installing these universal heated seat pads into this seat, and then on another video I'll probably talk about the wiring, because all I want to do is just get the pads in there, and I don't really want to mess up the seat cover. So I want to see if I can take off the seat cover. It kind of looks like it's quite neatly held in at the back there where that stitching is, so I somehow need to, I'd like to get the heating pad all the way in there and then all the way at the back as well. So yeah, so I figured the best way to do that is just get the seat out of the car, and then I can spend time doing it. And then if I can't do it, then I can't do it and I'll leave it. But if I can get these covers off without you know, without making it look rubbish, because I want this to look like it's a factory job. So yeah, so I'm going to take my time, be very careful about how to remove this cover. Looking underneath it, it looks pretty straightforward, but we won't know until we try. So here goes. So got the seat under the seat. So looks like initially you got this back cover, which is elasticated around here, so I can just remove that elastic, and then it looks like you've got these little strings holding in place the bottom cover there. So let's see about removing those and hopefully see what else awaits us. So I got the this little back cover off, remove the elastic, and that reveals you got your little ropes which can just detach from there quite easily. Another one there, that presumably gets the bottom seat cover off. Now you got the two halves of the seat in there. Now I've noticed these little which I believe they're called hog rings, but these are going to have to come off, but I should be able to just use some pliers and bend those back in. I think all they're doing is they're just holding together these two little bars that are inside the seat cover. So when we get that back in, you want to make sure that's nice and tight. But that is for the back side. So I'm going to start off doing the base first, and I'm just going to see about getting these those little ropey things off, and then I'm going to see what happens. It looks like it can just release the front of the seat cover. So maybe it's worth me taking off these side panels. So yeah, I'll have a look. So if you look down here, firstly I want to get this plastic cover off. So before I do that, I need to remove these levers. And before you do these levers, you basically look down there, and you can see that you've got this little clip just holding the lever in. So I've removed that with a pair of pliers, thin pliers, and hopefully this will just slide off now, just like that. And yeah, that can only go on, well, can go in multiple ways, but you obviously want to make sure you get it on the right way when you put it back on. So that's that releases that one. Let's set that aside, and then you've got the front one here. So again, another little clip in there. I'm not sure sure the camera's going to be able to pick that up, but I can see it. Maybe it's easier to get to it the other way. But yeah, let's try and get that one out. Right, that's the second one out. I'll tell you something, that was a bit more difficult because you've got, if you look here, you've got so little clearance to sort of get down in there and reach that clip. So what I've had to do is I've had to fashion this little tool, if you like, but just any piece of metal will do as long as it's got like a little lip on the end. So you can just reach down there and just pull it up, and that sorted me out nicely. So that now enables me to take this off. It should just slide off, hopefully, he says. There we go. Very straightforward, like the other one. So now we should be free to take that side panel off, and from what I'm observing, there's a screw there and some clips on the back side. So let's try and remove that. Right, so that side panel's off. Just thing to note here, you got this little groovy thing, that little bit there, that's sort of just clips around that metal bit there. You got a little springy thing here, and you've got more of this little white rope which goes around, ties there. So it's a good thing we've got this off. So I'm going to do the same on the other side, yeah, keep going. Okay, so I've now removed the ropes, very carefully removed as much as I can of the seat cover, but now it looks like I'm faced with, because obviously the seat cover, as I suspected, is tied quite tightly into the cushion of the seat. So it looks like you can see the sponge here, and then right down in here, if I squeeze that, you can see a few more hog rings. So I'm going to release those, and there's another one here, and just see if we can very carefully remove that and see what we've got underneath. Alright, what a mission that's been so far, just to get the cover off to the point where I can slide the heating element underneath. But basically I've been unpicking these little hog rings that exist all around there, trying not to damage them, being very careful about it. And then I've got enough, you can see like there's the seat sort of occupant sensors there. So I'm just going to put the heating pad on top of those, and then yeah, I might have to cut the heating pad just a little bit there and there so I can slide it just there. So I've got the heating pad, well, this is one heating pad, so I've got this, so I can have to slide that underneath there so it can just sort of sit like that, and hopefully yeah, if we do a good job. And then obviously I'll plug it into some power separately and just test it, make sure I haven't destroyed it or anything, because I'm going to have to cut holes, probably cut a bit there, cut there, and then cut there. So let's see about doing that. Right, so that's the base heating pad installed. What I have done is, right, I've kind of folded it into the grooves, and I've cut some rectangular holes just to expose the hog rings, and on that side as well, and the same at the front. So hopefully that will still work. I mean, according to the instructions, which are in German, by the way, but thanks to Google Translate, it looks like you can actually cut holes in it, but just don't cut it vertically. You can cut it horizontally, but obviously not horizontally there, because that's where the control cabling is, but it looks like you can cut holes in it. So let's I'm going to just give it some power and just see if they work, and then I'll know. Right, that's all the hog rings back and fastened. I've just powered up the heated element, and it, yeah, gets nice and warm, especially on the seat setting number 2, which is cool. So I've just refitted these rings back in, got them all connected back up, so just as it was before, and that's all reconnected. And you can see that here the little hog ring goes nicely in the little hole I've cut in the heated pad. So yeah, now to just put the cover back on, and yeah, and start on the back. The back should be easier because I'm just going to put the pad well, just up to here, and it looks like all that area there is just kind of loose, so I can hopefully just slide it up without too much hassle. And just so you can see from underneath, the yeah, so got these little string things back connected where they should be. These little string things hooked around there, another one there, and I didn't show you this before, but I've made use of the existing hole in the sponge, so that I can just feed the cable through, and so no need to so basically feeding the cable through where the factory holes go for the sensor. So yep, that's all good. So what I might do is just power it up one more time and just have a sit on it and just see what it's like, or at least the base of it anyway. So now I've got to install the back and see what that's like. Okay, so for the back part, I've released the hog rings, which secured basically that bar to this little bar here. This little yellow cable, I imagine, is the trigger for the airbag, so I ain't touching that. So they're the hog rings just there. So the good thing about these seats in the IQ is they come with a little zip, so I've just zipped them up as much as I'm going to go, and I'm going to try and just take this little bit of fabric and just see if I can just squeeze the pad, because that's all I'm going. I'm just going to try and tuck it just in there, as far down as I can go. Yeah. Alright, so I've just basically just all that fabric from the back, I've just folded it around to the front, so now I can just get my hand underneath there and just, yeah, you can just see that. I can basically just put the pad there, nicely fasten it underneath that bit there. So that's the back pad installed. I've literally just slotted it up, removed the double-sided tape, fixed it to the back, and I've now just refixed these hog rings back on there to secure the back part of the back seat fabric across. And yeah, I've basically taken the cable out through the existing hole for the airbag, run it down the same path as the airbag cable, and it goes there. So, and so you got the bottom pad and the back pad. So yeah, and another day I'll wire those into the car. Right, and there you go. You'd never know I even touched it. So yeah, they've got the heat rear, the back pad sort of goes up to there, front pad goes up to there. So yeah, so got the wires coming down there. Gonna hook up to this power supply now and just see what it's like. Got to find somewhere to put this little button, a little switch. Probably got some blanking plates around the center console, so I'll probably remove one of those, drill a hole through it. Yeah, so let's see what it's like. Alright, and I'm putting everything back together now, but just a word of advice, rather than putting these clips, sliding the little levers on first and then putting the clips on afterwards, which is an absolute nightmare, best thing is slide them in beforehand, like so, and then like so, so just kind of loose, sitting there like that. And then when you come to actually sticking them on, basically find the right position, and then they just push, there you go, and that will just clip right back on. All good to go. Yeah, that is fine. Looking good, looking good.